more people to say yes to your presentations? Well, first of all, you have to stop selling products or services. Stop it. That's not what people want. And to do that, you're going to learn today how to ask better questions. When you ask better questions, you will create better relationships. More people are going to smile during your presentation, and you're going to make more sales, which will enable you, Mr. Harshbarger, to make more money. So let's start today with thinking through, reviewing the consultative process. We began it on day 1. %40 of the time that you spend with a prospect is spent building trust. Once you've built sufficient trust, then it's up to you to begin to probe and ask questions. That's what our discussion is about today. This is the consultative selling process. Now, there are several benefits to the process, but one thing you have to do that every product-oriented salesperson has to be careful of is becoming a product evangelist. This product is the best for everybody. It's going to do this and that, and you've got all your confidence, your eye is supreme, and you get people to buy because of your self-confidence. Stop it. Yes, it's appropriate when you've identified that need, but not until. So this process of building needs, once again, what do? It first starts with you asking strategic questions. Strategic. What that means is that you've thought of questions you're going to ask given what you know about the buyer. You're going to ask questions that your company supplies you because they've been applying the marketing concept. They have designed products and services for you that meet real needs. And you have to use those in your presentation because it's not about whether you have the best product or not. It's whether it meets the need. Second, you have to learn, regardless of your DISC behavior style, you have to learn how to listen. Why? Because it's not about your product. It's whether or not that person has a legitimate need. Next, as you ask questions, you want the person to feel that you care about them. Well, what if you're not motivated by the social drive? You must ask questions to uncover perspective. And identifying the questions that help you do that is a part of the discussion today. Next, once you have asked those questions, you have identified the need, then you've got to deliver a presentation. You've got to select a product that is the right product configuration for them. Then you have to present it effectively, not distracting your buyer from your message, and then you have to follow through. And it's in the follow-through that enables you to create a client relationship so that someone buys repetitively from you. Now, what stands in the face of accomplishing this is what we call the value gap. And it's the gap between the needs that you believe they have, which they have not yet acknowledged. So how do you close that gap? One, as every good physician knows, you must first diagnose before you prescribe. Because if you don't, in the medical profession, that's called malpractice. Every salesperson who sells a product without asking first whether there's a need has committed malpractice. Just don't send them to jail yet. When you apply this process, you will have fewer cancellations. Cancellations are frequently caused by product evangelism. You'll have fewer cancellations and you'll have more referrals. One person telling another person, telling another person. When you understand how to ask great questions, that process sets up an endless chain of people who are your prospects. And it is the best prospecting system known. So the input to that is understanding how to ask better questions. Now when you begin to uncover needs, the first part of the process is that you must understand what the other person is saying. And you must get from them not only what's wrong, but how they feel about it. Because when they express the feeling, it's that emotion that emerges that causes them to consider that you may have the solution. That's the innovation, the value that emerges. Ultimately, this process enables you to utilize the company's marketing concept. The idea that they've already created a product that has the potential to create needs. So when it enables you to create a solution in which you take different parts, different products and services from your company, you package them together to form a customized solution, and then you create a proposal to convey to the client. Now there are a couple things that are working here that you should understand as you begin to interview for sales jobs. There are two great questions that you should ask given this discussion. One is, how often are your salespeople able to create a complete solution for a client? And then second, does your CRM enable me to create a customized proposal quickly? Because I got to tell you, if you don't have some systematic way to create a customized proposal, this will eat up your time like nobody's business. Having to create a customized proposal. You guys that sell a customized proposal for someone's home, you've got to write it out. That can take an enormous amount of time. But a great CRM system today, Salesforce.com has it, to be able to, for you in a click, 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 choose the products that can deliver the customized solution. Then when you make your presentation, it's a lot easier to connect benefits with needs. And ultimately, the end result is you create better relationships, you do what you say you're going to do, and you build your character. Now, how you do it? You ask questions. And in this process, when you go from building trust into identifying needs, we said over and over, the reason you build trust is so that when you ask these probing questions, your buyer will be honest in their answers. So I'm going to challenge you now. We're going to talk about your final presentation here in a couple minutes. Selling Culligan. Your challenge, once you've built trust, is to ask a series of questions with no intervening statements. Question, 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 question. Now before, as you transition from building trust to identifying needs, there's a magic question that you have to ask. You must determine whether the person in front of you is the decision maker. And you can do that this way. You can say, in addition to you, is there anyone else who should be present here if you decide you want to move forward with us today? In addition to you, is there anyone else who should be present today if you decide you want to move forward with my recommendation? If the answer is, well, my boss would have to be here, then you say, well, would it be possible to get your boss in on the conversation right now? Because if the answer is no, you're dealing with a no-po, no power, and cut your time short. The one thing that you can use a no-po for is to take your message with enthusiasm to the boss. And second, to create, then you're going to have to close on a meeting with the boss and the buyer, whom after your presentation could become an advocate. But just be careful. You can make presentations to no-pos all day long and you won't get an advance. Okay, so you've asked the question. The whole objective here is to begin getting the other person to talk so that you don't ruin it by yak, 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 yak. Because this presentation is not about you, it's about them. So how do you do it? Well, value emerges because of the insight that you get from your company and your products and your questions. Those emerge from a better understanding of the problem, a better understanding about how the product can solve it. In the old days, when we looked at the old model of selling, we talked about the value of qualifying a buyer. And when you qualified a buyer, you simply had to know, you had to apply the MAD acronym. Do they have the money? Do they have the authority? Do they have the desire? Today, it's completely different. You have to apply the marketing concept and understand needs, because ultimately, your job is to build trust. Trust is the thing that hastens the selling process, that causes the person to believe you. Then you will create a real dialogue. So what's a real dialogue? It's what you have with your mom, with your brother that you've been with for 20 years. You don't have to worry about what you say to that person because of the level of trust. So how do you get there? Let me introduce Neil Rackham and spin selling. I know there are several different selling processes that the authors in this chapter present to you. I'm going to hold you accountable to spin selling. That's what I've used, almost 30 years old. It works, but it's not easy. So let's start. We're going to go through the process so you'll understand it, and then I'm going to apply selling Culligan. And you are going to be the buyers. I'm going to be the buyer, and you're going to be the sellers, and you're going to ask me questions. Configured the way that Neil Rackham teaches you. So, stage one. Situation questions. Now, through this process, I'm going to plot a pain diagram. Pain diagram is when pain emerges in the conversation, the graph goes up. When pain goes down, the graph goes down.
Can I ask what pain stands for?
There's no acronym. It's real pain, like ouch.
Like physical?
I don't like that, you bet. So the question is, if you're going to persuade someone, will they respond to you if you say, you're going to be better off Or, can I solve a problem you have? And what Neil Rackham discovered, he went on 35,000 sales calls with a clipboard. And he simply documented what the salesperson said and then how the customer responded. And then what the salesperson said next and how the customer responded. So he created this model with the top salespeople, with the process that they used. It's been available now since 1988. It's almost 30 years old. It's still the best model. So, what's the situation question? As you ask questions, you start at the top of the funnel. So you're going to ask very general questions, and then more specific, more specific, more specific. Once you come out the bottom, you're moving from identifying needs into the presentation. So a situation question is a question in which you confirm what you already know. Now I'm telling you, if you go into your presentation and you say, tell me something about your company, the person's going to go, oh. Why didn't you learn? Why didn't you go on the internet and find out? They're not going to say it. They're going to go, well, we do this and this and this and this. So you lose immense credibility if you don't know something already. You haven't done your homework.
What is your company that we're asking the questions to?
It's going to be called Culligan, because that's a product you're going to sell.
We're selling Culligan to Culligan?
In the final project, you're going to be selling Culligan bottle-free coolers, or a filtration system that enables your retail customers or your business customers to have bottle quality water on the tap.
So do we need to make up the company that's buying it?
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in real people that have real needs, and 2 of the people on each of your teams you're going to select as the presenters. They're going to get a bit higher grade, and they're going to be the ones, this is the input to the National Collegiate Sales Competition. So you're going to select 2 out of the 6 or 7. They're going to make the presentation in there to a real buyer. We're going to watch it out here. It's a soundproof room.
What does your team do then?
I'm sorry?
What does the rest of your team do?
The rest of the team are the coaches. The rest of the team, they perform 3 roles. 1, they're the role of the product expert, to know everything about the Culligan product. The role of the buyer expert, because I'm going to give you the name of the person and you're going to find out lots about him or her. And 3rd, the process, because we're going to mimic the process that's used at the NCSC. Because in this competition, if you miss one of the stages, you're out. It's like a slalom race. You miss a gate, you're out. So you're going to practice and practice and practice and practice. And the team is going to get a team grade based upon the performance of the person and how well each of the members has prepared. So today what we're going to do, once I go through the spin questions, is I'm going to walk you through how to apply spin in those presentations. Right, situation questions. You want to perform as much research as possible and then articulate the situation as you know it. Your company has been in business for 75 years, you do this and this and this. My question is, blah, blah, how does this work? Now, situation question is just trying to help you understand the landscape. On the pane diagram, no pane. Unless the buyer believes that you're asking 20 questions. So if you say, how long has your company been in existence? How long have you worked here? How many people work for you? Blah, blah. The person's going to go, oh, crap. This is why I'm wasting my time here. You only get 3 situation questions. You got to make them work. Then you've got to ask a problem question. Here's what happens. Up goes the pane. What's a problem question? It could be as simple as saying, so what challenges do you face over the next 6 months with this? Now, high eyes, here's what happens. Do you like to ask problem questions? Someone goes, It's fun. You do? Well, good for you. Those high eyes, oh no. Does that mean somehow,
I want to know what's wrong with them.
no, I don't want to ask that, right? No, because I want things to go well. I don't want problems. High eyes, you have to go from here. It's not the caveman brain, you got to go here, cognitive. I have to ask the problem question. Because unless you find pain, no solution. So you ask problem questions. Now ahead of time, you understand the problems that your product or service already solves. So you know some questions that you have the potential to ask before you even go in. You strategically identify them. You know the benefits, so I can ask a question about this, and this, and this, and this, and try to figure out whether they have a problem with any of these. Those are problem questions. Now, pain works this way. Can I use your shoulder for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you got a sore shoulder, and I press on it, you go, ouch! Do I have your attention? Yeah, that's what a pain question does. The person goes, Well, yeah, I do have some challenges. And they're thinking, yeah, but why should I tell you? What's this about? But if you build trust, then they'll say, well, you're in this business. One of the challenges we have is blah. And you say,
Really?
really? Really? Now, really is a kind of a next question. Implication. An implication question makes the pain hurt more. It's like, ah, sore shoulder, ah, stop it. Now do you have their attention? Oh, big time, but be careful. If you do that to a D, Miss Childress, they'll fight back. Hey, get out of here. No, that's not our conversation. You can blow it, but just be careful. So what you want to do is say, really? Why? What of those challenges is going to be particularly difficult for you? Well, it's going to be this. How do you respond? Or, why is that? Question, question, question. Remember, their job's to talk. Unless they're talking, they're not divulging the problems they have, the potential needs you can fulfill. So you gotta shut up. Once you ask implication questions, you got their full attention and they're now describing the difficulty, you relieve the pain. Need payoff. The need payoff relieves the pain when you say, suppose I could present to you a way we could help you with this challenge. What personal benefits would you get if we were able to do that? Down goes the pain. Really? What personal benefits? Well, I could go on vacation, I guess. You ask? Well, where would you want to go? Well, I'd love to go to Greece. Why is that? With whom? Well, with my family. So you convert it from pain to
Gain.
gain. Pleasure. Pain to gain. That then is the transition from identifying needs into the presentation. That's your transition. Suppose I could show you how we could solve this problem for you. What personal benefits would you get? It's magic. You don't get that when you promise they're going to be better off. But you must identify the pain and you must press on it. Even if you don't feel like doing it. Because then they're interested in the solution. Then your presentation, we're going to go over this much later, but your presentation then is simply connecting the benefits of the product to the needs that they want to fulfill, to the solution of the problems. It should be very easy. Questions at this point? Well, now let's have fun. And let's talk about Culligan. So, final project. 2 people, 1 each. One's going to be in this room, one's going to be in this room. This will be in one room so you can't hear what's going on. And there'll be a one-on-one presentation with a real person. This person will be a sales manager, will be somebody in the company who wants to recruit.
Oh, that's scary.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is real time. And they're also coming here to recruit.
Are you going to be videotaping us?
Yes. Videotaping the whole process.
And then our group, the rest of our group's going to be in this room?
No, the other presenter will be in that room. The rest of your group will be out here.
Oh, so it's one-on-one, one-on-one.
Yeah, then you'll move out of here and move in there for the second presentation.
I got you.
And we're presenting tonight.
Will we get like a 30
15 minutes.
15
minutes, 15 minutes to make your presentation.
Both of them.
We're gonna,
With me.
each, 15 minutes each. All right, so now we got the process. Let's apply spin. So the process, here. This. I went all through these. Consequences, we did that. And the payoff, desire, yeah, we did that. Now transition, did all that stuff. Now, this is the original, a replica of the original Culligan product. The old water cooler, where you go up, get water anytime you want, and somebody has to lift a 40-pound jug of water up on top of it.
Make sure you don't.
And make sure you don't miss, it gets water all over the place, but this is how it's been done for eons. Culligan invented a new system. This system goes underneath the sink and it replicates, it's called reverse osmosis, it replicates the process that all water filtration companies use to purify water. And you can put it underneath your sink.
That takes up a lot of space.
Good, that's an objection, good. Now,
That's not as bad as that.
let's talk about a real situation. I will be the homeowner. You will be Culligan salespeople. You're going to start with situation questions. What would be a good starting situation question right up here at the top of the phone?
So you're a homeowner.
So you're a homeowner. Yes, I am.
Do you use filtered water?
Do I use filtered water? No, I don't.
Why not?
Now, hold on a second.
Oh, interesting.
Hold on a second. You're asking closed-ended questions. What's the difference between open-ended and closed-ended?
They can
What's
talk
that?
more.
You're going to get closed-ended starts with a verb. Are you, do you, will you? Open-ended starts with who, what, how, when, if. So as you start the process, they should be open-ended questions to get me to
Oh, no.
talk. Okay.
What is your primary source of water?
What is my primary source of water? Good. I just go to the tap, get a glass.
Is it high quality?
Is it high quality? Well, no, is that, so is that the best question to ask here?
No,
Now,
that's
so what I would say to that is, well, yeah, it's what I do every day. I guess we're not going to just get a glass of water.
Could you find the health benefits and learn something about that, about why?
So what question would you ask?
Uh,
Now, you got enough situation questions? Do you understand the situation?
Are you aware of how bad tap water is for you?
Okay, now, this is called, are you aware of how bad tap water is? This is called raising the straw man. Are you aware how bad it is? I'm going to explain to you how bad it is, and once I learn how bad it is, then I'll say yes. How well does that work?
Not good.
It doesn't work. Don't do that. That's not a process. Now, it makes sense, but I got this value gap, right? How do I close the value gap? I start with situation question. So give me another. Do you know enough now to ask a problem question? Now think through. What are the benefits of a Culligan filtration system at home?
You don't have to buy bottled water, you can save money like that.
I don't have to buy bottled water, so it's convenience, right? Okay, what else? Health benefits could be,
Tastes better.
could be taste.
The only lifting you do is the sink.
No more lifting, got it?
Lights and all that.
Hold on, but at a home, would you really have?
Hold on a second.
No, like the system itself, you wouldn't have to, like, you go off of what he was saying, you wouldn't have to buy for a longer period of time. Maybe go through the system like ever.
Well, it would give you, a benefit is you would have an unlimited supply of bottled quality water on tap. That could be a benefit. Okay, what else are potential benefits?
Better for the environment.
Environmental, got it? Any other
Could you
ones?
make it flavored?
That's a straw man again. You want to put chocolate in it?
I don't know anything
Hold on a
about
second.
Culligan, so
Stay
I'm
with me here,
asking
stay with
you
me
what
here.
I mean.
So now you know what the benefits are. What questions do you need to ask to uncover a need?
How much money do you spend a week on bottled water?
So if the person is, if you ask, what do you do when you get thirsty? Which is a good open question. You can say, well, I buy bottled water. Then you can say,
How much money do you
how much money do you typically spend on a week or a month buying bottled water? Good question. Okay. What other question can you ask?
Is it ice cold whenever you get it out of the tap?
Yeah, it's just.
This system is tap water. It is room temperature. There's no electricity that's attached to this system. It's all water pressure.
Okay.
What's another question?
How many other people do you have living in your home?
Great question. How many other people? But have you identified my need yet?
No.
Okay, keep asking.
How often do you get thirsty?
No.
Do you drink enough water?
Do I drink enough water?
That would be my second.
Probably not.
I definitely don't.
How much do the water bottles affect refrigerator space?
Oh.
Hold on a second.
It
So,
affects in
that is
college.
good.
hold on a second. So I'm going to play me, the real me, before I bought my Culligan system. So the real me. I don't buy bottled water.
Okay.
Okay, I don't. I just go to the tap when I get thirsty.
I definitely
How does it
Tap
taste?
water.
How does your tap water taste? It tastes fine.
Have you ever had a problem with your tap water being bad contaminated?
don't. Bowling Green did have a problem.
Yeah,
2
I
years.
keep bursting.
Okay, the answer is no, I don't know about that. So you gotta stop. Now you could say, I got a report here that shows in 2 years ago it was contaminated. Straw man. I'm gonna go, that was 2 years ago. I've never had a problem.
You had to boil your water and drink it.
If I don't know about it, you can't force a need down my throat.
Have you ever tried different types of tap water that you like better than the one at your home?
You know, I haven't. I'm just in the habit, you know, when I brush my teeth, I just drink tap water. It's fine. If you can't ask a question that identifies my need, I won't buy.
This is hard.
Yes, that's why most salespeople don't use it. They don't think in advance the questions they need to ask based upon the needs that this person has.
Could you ask, like, does your wife enjoy the tap water? Try and bring that in to see if she doesn't like it, then you could.
No,
Based off
she doesn't. She has a Brita filter in the refrigerator.
How often do you refill that?
Oh, I don't, she doesn't.
The
How
benefits are
annoying.
expensive.
How annoying is it to constantly refill a
She
thing
does
just
it.
to have?
She doesn't. She's never said anything to me.
So, does she need to be in on the conversation with us?
Is your wife home? Is your wife home?
We know she makes the decisions.
That's a good question to ask.
I think we got it
Right here. That's a good question to ask.
How often do you replace your burner filter? Like,
That's a good question for her. I don't know the answer.
How much are you concerned about your health?
Well, I work out every day. I am concerned about my health.
How much do you know about the safety of tap water compared to filtration water?
You know, I don't know the difference between those, and my belief is, you know, we pay our taxes, and they filter, they process the water, and we drink it.
What if I told you that
Straw
inside
man.
of pipes?
Straw man. It has to be a need that I have. See, if that's how you're selling, that's why people aren't responding. You can't raise a straw man and then knock it down.
Do you have access to enough clean water to compensate for how much you work out?
Well, I guess, but, you know, I just like Diet Coke.
That's so bad.
Oh. See, you didn't get that out of me. You have to ask questions that get, so what do you do other than tap water when you get thirsty? Do you drink anything else? I'll say, yeah, I love Diet Coke. Then you ask.
I was going to ask if you want to make your wife's life easier.
yeah.
Could be. I need to get my wife in, right?
Yes.
That could be. That could be.
That was the
But
beginning
let's
question.
stay. So get my need first.
How much do you spend on Diet Coke?
Well, a better question is, how much do I drink, right?
Honestly,
How much Diet Coke do you drink?
I don't
I
like
say,
Diet Coke.
this is true. Oh, not very much. Maybe a 2 liter a day. True.
But there.
I was, yeah, true. I was. Because the water didn't taste good, and I never put those two together. I'm busy, but I know when I brush my teeth, I used to go, and I drink it, but it was, when you drink good water, it just goes right down. When you drink tap water, so you have to force it down.
Good job.
So the Culligan guy said, oh, you drink a 2 liter every day. Now you don't go, oh, that's bad for you. Because, listen, I'm interested in my health. I just have never put those two together. So the first question you ask is, so how much do 2 liters cost? And I'll say, well, I buy them, you know, a 10 for 10 and an extra free one, so maybe $1 a piece. So you're saying to me, so you're spending about $30 a month on Diet Cokes. Yeah. Okay, what's the Culligan system cost? I don't know this.
$2.50.
No, it costs $29 a month. Ooh. Now, as a salesperson, I go, oh, it's $29! No! You put that bullet in your gun. You don't fire it right away. You put that, now I got one I can shoot. I got one. Remember, there's this value gap. You got to get me. So now we got the cost issue. And you say to me, I wonder, why is it that you only drink water out of the tap when you brush your teeth, but at no other time? I don't know. I just like Diet Coke. You might say, could it be that maybe you don't like the taste of your tap water? I don't know. Then you could say, let's test it. And you see, many times when you make a sales call, you can't close on the first one. You may have to identify, you may have an appointment with me, go home, do a water test, do a taste test, unbiased, get my own tap water out, and you buy a bottle of any bottled water, you put them together, you switch them around, I come and I do a taste test. Bingo, I discovered, man, that tastes better. Huh. Now you got a reason to close. And you also know that I'm spending every month the same amount it would cost me to put in a Culligan system per month. Okay, now that's just me. Now let's expand it. What other questions can you be prepared to ask to identify problems other people will have? You know the solutions, you know the benefits. So benefit is bottles. So if I say to you, yeah, we drink bottled water at home because we don't like the taste of tap water. Then you say, you ask,
So if I could give you,
don't you close.
How much do you buy?
Lower your D. You're not ready yet. You got to go through the pain cycle.
oh, we're in the paint.
Of course. No, this is another person. So and you've uncovered that we like bottled water at home.
How much do you buy? How much money do you spend a month on bottled water?
Well, I guess for the four of us, we probably, and we go to the supermarket, probably twice a month we come home with 2 cases of 24 each.
That's it.
Be careful. So now, when you know there's a problem there and the other person doesn't think it's a problem, it's chronic, right? So I take 2 24s, and now we got a problem is, how do I get it in the car? So, what's the next question you ask?
That's a lot of water. Where do you store it?
Where do you store it's a good question. But before that, you ask,
Who carries the water out of Walmart?
exactly, who shops at Walmart? And I say, oh, my wife does normally. Oh, you got it now. So then you got a potential problem, right? So your wife, is she the one, she takes it off the shelf and she puts it in the basket? 24? So 24, a pint's a pound the world around. So a pint weighs a pound. So 24 pounds. So your wife is lifting 24 pounds, bottom shelf. And what I'm doing is I'm replicating, I'm behind his eyeballs, and I'm thinking she picks it up and she lifts it into twice. Has she ever said anything about that to you? Yeah, she has.
What if she says no, though?
Hold on a second. Keep following the train of thought. Well, yeah, she has commented a couple times that it's kind of a pain because it's not that. It's she has to put them in the trunk, and she has to lift it out of the trunk and carry it all the way into the kitchen. You go, so does she enjoy that? What's that? That's an implication question, right? No, she doesn't. It's chronic. Have I thought about it? I haven't thought about it, but now you bring it to mind. Okay, another bullet. Click. Do I say, oh, we can solve it? No. I want 3 bullets. Because when I fire, I want to make sure I got another bullet if I miss the first time. Ask another question. What's another question?
So she picks the water up 4 times in that same cycle, right?
So the problem is inconvenience, and the wife is lifting it up.
You said she sets it in the garage,
She puts it in the garage, and it sits in the garage.
so it gets pretty warm during the summer.
You have to go out.
Yes, it can. It can. Okay, follow your train of thought.
But the inconvenience of going out to the garage.
Oh, well, inconvenience is one. So then you have to ask, get behind. So then, how do you get the water from the garage in the refrigerator? Well, I usually do that, and I bring it in, probably 3 or 4 bottles at a time. So, do you ever drop them? Oh. Well, not very often. So you say, well, so if you drop one, what happens? Well, they're bottles. They usually don't break. So I'm testing that. Is that a problem? No, it's not a problem. So then you put them in the refrigerator. Any issues with your wife and storage in the refrigerator? You test that idea. No, that's not a problem. You get behind their eyeballs and you look at their situation through their eyeballs. So then, okay, they're in the refrigerator. And so 2 24-packs. What does a 24-pack cost?
Well, it depends where you go.
All these $2.
$2 at Aldi's,
I mean, you can get 40 at like some places for $5.
Okay, we can have a big discussion on that. The person's going to say about $5.
Yeah.
So you're spending about $20 a month on bottled water. Yes, that's true. Bullet in the gun. Click. I got 2. I get inconvenience, and now I got cost. Any other questions?
We can talk about if the water bottles take up a lot of space in trash. It's a lot of trash, all those plastic
So
bottles.
get behind my eyeballs. Walk me through my process.
What do you do after you drink the water bottle?
What What do? Well, I just throw them in the trash basket. So, are you aware of the environmental consequences of that? And I'll say, yeah, my wife gets on me for that. And you say, really? Well, yeah, I know we recycle, and sometimes she gets on me because she finds plastic in there. I know I should really be more environmentally friendly. Bullet in the gun. Okay? So I got 3 bullets in the gun. Now, need payoff. So what I've learned today is you like bottled water, and the issues I've learned is that they're a little bit inconvenient, especially for your wife lifting it, coming in from Walmart. And then they go in the garage, and then you have to carry them in. Sometimes you drop them, and they could break. And then you're concerned. Now I've learned that you're spending $20 a month doing this. And I've learned, what's the other thing I've learned? Environmental. That sometimes you're not recycling. If I could solve all of those problems for you, what would be the personal benefit to you? What personal benefits would you get?
Still wasn't that bad.
Life would be happier. I wouldn't get in arguments about that. Less waste.
Less time to go to the store.
I wouldn't pay the $20. And I'm thinking, what do you got? Transition into the presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how it works. Here we go. All right. Now, let's now talk about how, now you know the value of asking better questions and you understand the 4 series of questions. Now you have to listen. So how many courses have you had in listening in your college career? How many taken a listening course? I know the communications department has 1 listening course. But the business department, don't business people need to know how to listen? We don't take courses. Is it any wonder that we are such crappy listeners? So, listening course number 1. What good listeners do is they make sure they understand what the person meant when they said what they said. You have to verify this. Now your challenge in this process is to ask all questions until you get to the presentation portion. The first thing you can do is you can mimic what someone says. That's the lowest level of effective listening. So you can repeat. Repeating's not bad, except someone will say to you, so I say this and you just repeat this? Like, I don't get it. You think you're a salesman or something? So the answer to this is you rephrase without repeating. So what I understand is blah, 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 blah. The person says, yes, that's my concern. Now, when you rephrase and the person says this, what's happening inside the person's mind? You are building trust. Because I know now that you understand my point. But even more deeply, you need to reflect the feeling. So what I understand is that your wife has to bring in the water, and the 2 of you then bicker over who's going to bring it from the garage. And sometimes this little tiny thing can be very frustrating between the 2 of you. Yes! You got me! You're going up the implication cycle. Reflect the feeling.
Ready for more info?
This is a general comment. For you to become a more effective listener, mimic, you rephrase, and you reflect the feeling. You got those 3, now you're building trust with the other person. And I challenge each one of you to do this between now and Wednesday. You do all 3. Today, I started and challenged you, and I said, how are you going to get people to say yes more often? You got to stop selling products. You can't be a product evangelist. To do that, you got to ask more questions and better questions. And when you do that, you're going to build better relationships. People are going to smile more often, and you're going to make more sales, which will enable you to make more money. Now, on Wednesday,